Hey Aries, it's Rebecca from Being Human Tarot here with your November 2018 reading. This month I'm reading with the Aries Tarot, which I'll link to in the description if you're interested in it. It's a really cool deck because it comprises, at least in the majors and the court cards, 90s pop culture icons. I grew up in the 90s. If you're also a child of the 90s, you might really enjoy that. It's fun. And the illustrations are great. The caveat is that the minors are all depicted super literally. So if you draw like the Five of Cups, let's say, it will be a literal 5 cups without any illustration or background to work with. And so obviously that makes it rather difficult to read intuitively, and as such I'll be referencing Smith Rider-Waite imagery to kind of move through those cards, just so you know, to be transparent. Not that it wouldn't be, you would obviously see me doing it, so you would gather that anyway, but I'm sticking with the same 3-card spread that I've done in previous months. So the first card indicates what to focus on this month, the second card indicates what to set aside for the month, and the third card indicates an additional consideration for the month. So, to get into your reading, for what to focus on this month, you drew Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen as the Knight of Pentacles. So if you're familiar with the Knight of Pentacles, you know it's a very slow-moving knight. Within all the knights of the cards, it's actually the slowest moving, and the knights are all about movement, so that is noteworthy. Basically, that knight is at a standstill, and it's very kind of protectively holding its pentacle. And the Olsen twins are actually kind of a good representation of this because the Olsen twins are hella private. I don't know if you know much about them. I don't know a ton about them, but I feel like I hope I'm getting this right now that I'm saying that I know it, but the few things I do know is that they both struggled a lot with after kind of like in their early adulthood or late teen years, I suppose, had some problems with drugs, and I also believe eating disorder situation, at least for one of them. And so also I hope I'm like not super slandering them and that I got that right. So I'll just like put that with the like potentially that's not completely true, but even if it's not, I'm going to talk about it a little bit just in relation to this card and the Knight of Pentacles. So thank you. They're very private people after going through some hard stuff. I mean, it's not easy to be a child star, right? And so to draw a parallel between them, they're very family oriented because they're sisters, right? Identical twin sisters. Knight of Pentacles is very family oriented. It's very, earth sign, grounded. And in the Smith Rider-Waite card for this, it's that knight is sitting on top of a still horse, guarding his pentacle, his precious pentacle. And I feel like that's what they learn to do after being exposed to the world in a pretty harsh way and like learning some hard lessons. It's to be able to protect your shit when you can. And so maybe that wasn't like the cheeriest example, like you're not going to go through an Olsen twin tragedy this month by any means. I just use that to explain kind of how there's this same caution and slowness, hesitation to sort of jump forward and do something. So this month the cards are asking you to take a step back. What's going on at home? What do you potentially need to protect there? Or just, even if it, maybe protect is too harsh of a word for your particular situation, so if that doesn't resonate, what do you need to do at home that's just like tending home in the way you need to best tend it? And home, family, you know, obviously people have lots of different, you know, ways of defining that. Home and family can just be you if you're someone who lives alone. So it's kind of like, what are you doing for yourself then? How are you tending your own like solo living arrangement that best serves you? If you have a larger family, how is everyone interacting in the home? Is there anything that needs to be changed? So it's just really like asking to reflect on that, and if there's need for improvement, focus on that this month. That's important. In your position of what to set aside, you drew Janet Jackson as the Chariot. Great illustration. And so a set aside of the Chariot is really, because the Chariot is about succeeding, it's about getting kind of what you want and going forth, but it also maxes out at a certain point. We don't live in the Chariot forever. So in your set aside, it's about moving on from it. It's about honoring the role that this has played in your life. You've reached a point now where something that was really working for you is complete. And you don't have to like throw it away, but you don't have to live in it anymore. And in fact, you shouldn't, because you need to move on from it to grow. So take it with you, you know, have it in your back pocket of skills, you know, however this is showing up for you. Maybe it's a job that you're done with now. It got you to the place you wanted to be and you're happy and you learned a lot from it, but now it's like, now you need to move on to your next best thing. Maybe it's a relationship, you know. The Chariot can be so many different things in terms of a big deal thing that has helped us along and made us succeed in a way that we're very proud of. But you just don't want to be afraid to let yourself move on so that you can continue to grow. In your position of additional considerations, you drew the 10 of Cups. So you can see now finally, because the first two you got obviously a court card and a major, so you saw those illustrations I was talking about. Now you can see the much more literal minors that I was also talking about. And the 10 of Cups is really showing you what's possible once you move on from the Chariot. Like there's going to be, and again I'm going to reference Smith Rider-Waite, there's going to be like a rainbow in the sky. There's going to be this moment of satisfaction and fulfillment because you've come far. And you know, even before you get to the thing, your next big thing that's like after the Chariot, you can feel in the 10 of Cups about the Chariot having existed in your life. So this doesn't have to necessarily be about like, oh, now I found like this next thing that's going to be the deal for me, and like now I'm like basking in this happy fulfillment, you know, mentally peace-filled 10 of Cups. You can feel 10 of Cups about the fact that the Chariot happened, is still happening, even though you're moving on from it. Maybe part of it will always be with you, because it can be like a big lessons learned thing. So that's a lot to feel proud of. It's a lot to feel proud of. And if another interpretation is if you're feeling a bit sad from being called to move on to this thing that's really worked for you, what's going on with you right now aside from this that's like seeing a rainbow in the sky? I'm actually at a tarot retreat, and that was how the Ten of Cups was just taught by the instructor. The instructor is Lindsay Mack. It's been great. Highly recommend if you ever have the chance to work with her. Please do. But she taught the card like that for the first time, and I've not heard that before, and it like super resonated with me. So if you're feeling actually pretty bad and that you pick this and you're like, what? Why did I get the Ten of Cups? I don't feel like the Ten of Cups. I feel pretty like low. What is something in your life? There's likely something in your life that you can look to that's like looking and seeing like a rainbow in the sky and feeling kind of like, ah, that's really nice. That's beautiful. It's good reminder to kind of keep ourselves in check. Particularly if we can be natural pessimists, which I totally can, so I get that. But we just want to remind ourselves that we can live with discomfort while still recognizing the positive things that we have going on in our lives. So that is it for your reading. I hope that you found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. After you hit subscribe, you have the option to click the bell icon, which will automatically notify you as soon as I upload videos so that you don't have to check in. And I do that before the first of every month so that you'll have a little bit of time to sit with the reading, see what's to come. And that's it. I will pause this and pan down so that you can see your 3 cards together, which is helpful visually, I think. And I will see you next month. Bye, Aries. As you can see, here's your focus of the Knight of Pentacles, set aside of the Chariot, and additional consideration of the Ten of Cups. Thanks for tuning in.